All right, I think we're live. Got my boy Blue in the house. That's Lyle. We'll just wait for people to come in. This is my first live, so I hope nobody comes in one respect. Though I do want to chat and answer questions. And we set this time apart just to answer any. Oh, God, look at this kid. We set this time aside to kind of answer any questions following up on the video that was just released, which was based on like Black Friday and what to buy for fishermen in your lives, or if you're yourself a fisherman. So it was kind of like marketed towards the whole Black Friday holiday, and came out from a subscriber we met, kind of gave us the idea and requested we do a video on it. And I think it's something that people can look at later on. It's the night before Thanksgiving, so I don't expect anybody to have time to pop in. If they do, that's cool, and I'll answer any questions they have. But after the live's over, we can. This will be available for people to view, just like any other channel. So I don't even know how to see if anyone's in here, honestly. But I'm going to say there's nobody in here, which is fine. What do you think? We think we should go find your brother?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. I'm going to go for a quick walk. I'm going to unplug this and hopefully it doesn't die. It would stink. All right. Hope we don't see anything we shouldn't see. But we're traveling through the house. Lyle, don't wake him up. Don't poke the bear. Okay. You're going to see a messy house. This is the reality. Yeah, that's the reality, folks. That's the reality. All right, let me go back down. He's out cold. I don't know if I posted anything, but he caught a 20-inch rainbow yesterday fishing on his own up there. My wife took him up, but he basically was running the show. Hey, my boy Jerry, what's going on? Can you hear me? Boxcar Jerry is in the room, I think. All right. You get dizzy? Did you see me walking up the steps? Kev's out cold upstairs. All right. Trout Slayer, welcome. Thanks for stopping by, man. So yeah, this whole idea of this episode or this live, this is my first live, so I'm expecting full disaster. Hamza, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I met you down in you're the dude I met in Norristown, right? So the point of tonight was really geared towards like new fishermen, what gear to buy and how to get you on the water. So Trout Slayer, you're asking what fish are you trying to target? I am a multi-species angler, and we go after whatever's running. We like trout. By trade, I'm a salmon guide in Alaska. I spent 10 years up there guiding. So that's kind of what I know the best. But we chase bass, pickerel, pike, muskie, pretty much everything that we can catch in Pennsylvania. That's where we live now. But you see my flags behind me. I got the Pennsylvania flag and the Alaska flag. They're the two states that define me most because I spent most of my time split between them. What do you go after, Trout Slayer? Hamza, I'm glad I pronounced it right. Sorry if I butcher it. I'm not good with names, but I do remember meeting you, and I hope we get out sometime together. So the one thing I had like 5 things that I came up with that I thought were worth mentioning to new anglers. And the first is like to ask for help. You get some, let's call them Richards. I don't know what you can. There's my boy Lyle. I'm not sure what the correct term for it is, but the type of people that are jerks. But for the most part, fishermen are really cool people, and we're all brothers. So my first point would be to ask for help. Tell the person fishing next to you, like, I'm brand new. Don't act like you know what you're doing. Tell them you don't know what you're doing. And to be honest with you, I sometimes use that too. You kind of play dumb. People are going to be a lot more helpful and show you where the fish are if you act like you have no clue what you're doing. So if you're new to fishing, just tell them that. You know, they're very likely going to take you under their arm and show you a lot more. And these are in no specific order, but my second point is reading the water. And this is based on my experience of going to lots of derbies and fishing with people that have no experience fishing, and kind of the questions that they ask. You'll see them fishing the wrong spot, like where you look at it as like an experienced angler maybe, and you know there's no fish there. So I would just kind of, teach them to read the water. Know the difference between a cut bank and a like a flood, the gravel bar, like where the water cuts away at the land and where the water deposits gravel, and to know the species you're after, like to see where do they lay. And that way you can take 2 miles or 3 miles of land or water and pinpoint the fish where likely they are. It's going to save you a lot of time. Like, so you're going to have like rapids, runs, the pool, and then the next set of rapids. So depending on the species of fish and what the food sources are, there's a lot of specifics to where they're at, but that's a little advanced. If you're a beginner, like I said, tell people you're a beginner and nicely fish near them, but don't fish right next to them and don't say a word. Go up until say, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you mind if I fish here? 90% of the time, the answer is going to be yes. And if it's no, you don't need to be talking to that person anyway. Move on with your day. Hamza, if you got any questions, there we go. What are your top two fishing spot in Greater Penn area? Depends what you're going for. The video, I don't know if you saw the video I put at 7:30. That's my number one spot to send a beginner, just because in the spring or in the summer, if you go to Dan Rolfe Park in Harleysville, my hometown, you're going to catch nonstop sunfish. They're everywhere. In the spring, they stock that with trout too. So I think it's in March, April is opening day of trout, somewhere around there. They stock that little pond heavily. So it's a good spot to start learning. It's not my favorite style of fishing, but that's where I would say to go. So that would be my number one spot. Green Lane, Night Lake. Is that like Deep Creek? Are you looking for trout, Hamza? Yeah, so the names are confusing depending on the maps, but you want to go to Deep Creek, Green Lane Park, where the old swim area used to be. There's a sandy beach there, and you want to cast out there pretty far. The thing is, those trout are out further than you can just cast with a regular setup. So you want to use like a sliding egg sinker. You got to have some weight so that you can cast out there far enough to get to the fish. And you need the egg sinker is the type of lead that the line will slide through, because trout are pretty finicky. Lyle said, subscribe now for fish to bite. Thank you, but these guys are all subscribed. They're pretty sensitive. So what you want that line to go through the egg sinker and the weight to be able to slide. And that should work. Throw like a power bait. You can use 3 rods in Pennsylvania. And if you're going to fish off that peach, Hamza, if you have 3 rods, throw all 3, man. Put all 3 out there. Put stakes in the ground. And if you see that line moving, pull up on that rod right away. Don't wait, because they're not like hitting and running when you're catching power bait right now. There's other spots, like if you're sitting on that sandy beach, which is right by the parking lot, there's some nice spots looking across the lake where the tennis courts are, right at the turn. So that lake is a creek. It's a flooded creek. So where that creek takes a bend, that deep channel gets really close to where the tennis courts are. So you don't have to cast far on that spot. So if you don't have the rod that you can cast out real far and you're thinking you can't really hit that spot, maybe go to the tennis courts. You'll see the clearings. It's a beautiful park. Grass is cut and there's like a picnic bench. You can set up on the picnic bench and set up right there. We've caught some 16, 18 inches lately there. They're definitely in there. Kevin caught a 20-inch up there yesterday and 18-inch today and another 16-inch today and a whole bunch of 12s that he threw back. So they're in there. Are your notifications? My son knows more about YouTube than I. Are your notifications on? Okay, thanks, son. Under the bridge is another good spot. It's really shallow there, Hamza. So YouTube can be very deceiving. What you see is my kid yanking in a 20-inch trout. What you don't see is that he spent his whole day up there just hanging out because I was working and he went up there with my wife and he was up there literally the whole day walking around and then spotted one big buck or male, we call him buck, male trout who thinks he's spawning. So he's real aggressive chasing other fish. He threw a HD trout jerk bait and got it. Double Hook Angling, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm talking gibberish here, I think. I'm trying to make sense of fishing for somebody who doesn't fish as often. Appreciate you stopping by. So yeah, the third piece, Hamza, and anyone else who's newer to fishing would be tackle. Trout are finicky feeders, so a big mistake I notice with beginner fishermen is that they're using 8-pound or 12-pound test, and you got to have 4-pound test to catch most of the fish, especially in what we were talking about in the little lakes where the water's calm, clear, and still. Yeah, there you go, double hook. I caught 5 trout yesterday on the fly rod. Remind me where you're fishing for me. The 2-pound test is what I use, and I'm no spring chicken. I can't even see that line, so it's pretty frustrating. I get angry. I have to get Kevin to tie it for me. I use Kansas. Okay, nice. Yeah, so same thing here. If you do have 8-pound test, and some of my rods are bass rods, we're allowed 3 rods in PA. So I'm not going to go crazy. My son goes after different fish every car or every day. And sometimes what I'll do is the 12-pound test. You throw a swivel on that and you put the weight on the top part of that in the thicker line. And then on the little line going out of the swivel, you can put just 18 inches of nuts, boy. You can put some real light, 2-pound test from there to the hook. I use fluorocarbon. I think mono works just as well. Fluoro is a little bit better, but for beginners, again, fluorocarbon tangles a little easier. So it can be a little frustrating when you get down to the 2-pound test. So you kind of have to balance the most effective thing with practicality and flexibility. Patience is another thing. I'm reading off my notes because I get nervous when I talk in front of people. But patience is another virtue, which I've kind of learned fishing with a 4-year-old and 5 and 6 and 7. And now, is he 9? Is that how old he is? Yeah. Kevin's 9 now. How old are you? 11? 11. This kid's going hunting with me next year. You ready? Yeah, he's pumped. Yeah, so you got to be patient out there. So have a good time, dress appropriately. Slam Sam's Fishing. Nice, man. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Hamza, awesome. Glad you could stop by, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope I see you out there soon. Have a great Thanksgiving. Peace, man. What else do I have on my list? I only have 6 items. Number 5. Yeah, 5 is actually piggybacked on being patient, wearing the right clothes. We're going to do a video soon on cold weather gear. Durham RS. I love your catch, clean, cook videos. Love from the UK. Awesome, man. Let me write you down. I don't remember that name. Do I have you? Durham RS. Sweet, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm going to track you down if I don't have you already. And if I do, I'm going to check you out some more. Appreciate the love. Yeah, I was going to say we're going to do an upcoming video on cold weather gear. I can boast a little too much at times, so I try to ignore. But I used to do a lot of cold weather racing in my past, including like the Iditarod race in Alaska. So it's one of the areas I am cocky on. I do know cold weather gear and survival tactics and wilderness survival. So I will bring some of that into some short videos, especially with ice fishing and things. I think it's kind of important because I get out there with a 9-year-old and we spend the whole day up there. Thanks, Hamza. Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good one. And number 6, after you do all that stuff and you're actually successful, number 6, fish handling. You're either going to eat the fish or you're not going to eat the fish. There's no in between. If you're going to eat the fish, there's proper ways to still handle it so it tastes good. There's ethical ways to dispatch the fish. We can go into all that stuff at another time, but if you got questions, you let me know. But if you're going to let the fish go, especially with trout, sunfish, some fish aren't as double hook. This is my older boy. I showed you my, I took the camera upstairs. Kevin, the goofball that you see on my videos, he's my 9-year-old. He's upstairs snoring right now, so loud. And we're getting up at like 5:30 to go back on the water. So he's resting up, ready to go. That's my older boy. He's not in as many videos, but if you look at our videos and you see our subscribe buttons and all that stuff that actually looks like somebody knows what they're doing with art and technology, that's this guy. He's my computer guru.
Hey, do you call me guru?
That's a good word. Don't worry. So yeah, so fish handling. If you're going to let the fish go, we do like a 10-second rule. That's what I try to teach Kevin. You don't keep them out of the water for more than 10 seconds. Also use like the tip that like if you're breathing in, like hold your breath when you handle the fish. That's another good technique. And when you need to take a breath, the fish probably does too. Not to get all hippie and tree hugger on you, because I'm really not. But it's still important from a selfish point of view. You know, that's your resources. You want to get them back in the water alive so you can harvest them another day perhaps, or the species does well and you can harvest those another day. But just know what you're going after. Catfish, you know, they can be out of the water a lot longer than trout. Temperature, you know, all that stuff they're very sensitive. So I'll just leave it at that. Fish handling. If you're going to keep the fish, know what to do so it tastes good, you know, when you fillet it. And if you're going to let it go, make sure, you know, you return it. From Alaska, I got to tell you, my pet peeve is catch and release folks who think they're doing something ethical. And, you know, in fact, they're releasing fish that die 2 minutes later. You hear, oh, they swam away fine. I could say as a guide for years, and I guided on the Hulitna River in Alaska, in middle of nowhere in Alaska, interior. It was only me and one other guide on the whole river, 175-mile long river. And I can tell you the amount of 50-inch pike I'd find dead out there every day. And I knew it was from his boat, and he was a catch and release angler. So I'm a little biased in that. And especially when they come with a chip on your shoulder telling you that you're catch and release. I do plenty of catch and release, but I do not apologize when we take them for dinner. So yeah, I mean, that's all I really wanted to say. If anyone's got questions, I know everyone that's left in here is probably as good, if not better, than I am at fishing. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I mean, I'm here to answer questions and chat. You guys got any BS to talk about, complain about anything? That's not true. I don't think that's true. I think Boxcar Jerry probably knows more good catfish and carp spots on the river. I see him hanging out down by the river in his videos, calling out fish that are jumping. I bet you I could just follow where he goes, and when he spots a fish, I could be on to some pretty good fishing. Just being out in the outdoors is one of the most important things you can do. Just being out there, and like me, I'm not that good. I just don't have anywhere better to be. I sit out in the outdoors and I see fish. All right, I am going to get out of here. Thanks you guys for coming in. I appreciate the support. This is my first live, so the fact that you can hear me is already a win. So I'm going to get out of here before you guys cancel your subscriptions to me. Boxcar, appreciate it. Double Hook. If you guys haven't checked out each other's channels, please do so. Really appreciate supporting each other. I try to do that. And at the same time, I try to stay married and keep the kids out of jail and such.
Who do you call selfish?
I didn't say shellfish. Shellfish?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you
Who's
started with the jokes.
lobster?
All right, guys, have a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you all on the water, hopefully. And I'm out of here.
Hey, lobster, goodbye.
I don't even know how to close out. Oh, end stream. My mouse died.
Yeah,
I
your
gotta
mouse
call my
died.
tech guy. I can't close out.
This thing.
My lobster's totally cooked. Oh, look, this thing's not in the other port. He's not the only one cooked, Double Hook.